Chelsea fans, welcome back to Talking Chelsea. Welcome back to another match preview. This Thursday is the first leg of the UEFA Conference League semi-finals where Chelsea go away to Djurgården, or Djurgården is I think how you pronounce it. Now, of course, this is a fixture that everyone expects Chelsea to absolute cakewalk, and I don't think that that is going to be the case. Obviously, I hope we do get the victory, and I hope that we can get the job done in the first leg to take the pressure off the return leg a couple weeks' time at Stamford Bridge. The question is, what will Enzo Maresca do with the starting 11 for this game, because we have Liverpool at the weekend and that is a must-win game. So in this video, I'm going to be going over my predicted Chelsea 11 to face Djurgården in the first leg of the UEFA Conference League semi-final. And before we get into the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you are a Chelsea fan who enjoys Chelsea content. We're on the road to 10k by the end of 2025. So the big question is, what is Enzo Maresca going to do? It's going to be very hard to balance the squad for this game on Thursday and then the game against Liverpool at the weekend, because essentially they're both must-win games and Enzo Maresca loves some rotation. I feel like he can't take this game less seriously. He has to respect the competition. The players actually want to have to go out and play. We need to get the job done in the first leg, which we're away in, so then we can ease the pressure on that return leg and kind of go through to the final. Pretty much what we did in the last round. Now, obviously, the second leg of the last round, we actually lost at home to a Polish team for the first time in history or whatever, which is really embarrassing. But the players come out and said that they didn't treat the competition with enough respect that night, and the players just didn't perform. And I'm praying that we don't do the same thing in the semi-finals. So I'm going to give my predicted lineup, and I don't know how many I'll get right, probably none, because Enzo Marasca has some wild lineups. But going on in goal, I'm going to go with Filip Jorgensen, because we know that when it comes to Enzo Maresca, he likes Robert Sanchez. He's our number one. So Jorgensen is naturally going to play in the Conference League. I don't think Maresca would change it up too much. Obviously, he sees things in the day-to-day training, of course, but I don't think he's going to change it up for Sanchez to play in the semi-final then against Liverpool. He's going to want to rest him for Liverpool to make sure he's at his best. And to be honest, and give Sanchez the credit that he deserves, he has actually been getting a lot better in recent weeks. So long may that continue against Liverpool the weekend. But I'm going to go with Jorgensen in goal. Left back, I feel like we have to play Cucurella because we have one left back, and the other person that we play left back is Malo Gusto, who is actually injured. So we don't have another option for left back. So at least we know we're going to have one first team player who's going to have a lot of minutes in him. He's got to play this game and then a game against Liverpool. Like I said, both must wins. Regardless of what you think of Djurgården, I think that's how you say it, or Djurgården, regardless of what you think of them, you have to respect them enough to go out and get the job done. We can't just expect to walk this, because look what happened in the last round. When we did expect to walk it, we ended up losing at home, which is not a good look. So when it comes to the centre-backs, I believe he's going to use Colwell and Chalobah against Liverpool, which leaves Badiashile, which I can't spell, there we go, Badiashile and Tosin to play this game. And I think that is more than enough. I think Tosin has been the fan base are pretty split on Tosin, right? They really like him or they really don't like him. And I think he's been relatively consistent this season. Yes, he's been caught out at times, of course. He's not the quickest at recovering. And Badiashile this season, the second half of the season especially, he's played very well when he's needed to. He's always been that defender that you don't really notice is on the pitch, because he's just doing his job. Not doing anything amazing, not doing anything bad. He's just doing his job. And I respect that. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of Badiashile at all, but I will give it credit where it's due. Same with Sanchez. And I feel confident in those two playing in the back line together. I think they could do the job for what we need it to that night. When it comes to right back, I feel like Ashimpong deserves a start. This is kind of like becoming his competition. He gets the most minutes in it and he plays fantastically well. We now know that he can also invert seamlessly into midfield, which is great. Don't really know how that would work with Cucurella one side and Ashimpong the other. Now, is Enzo Maresca going to play Caicedo and Reece James in midfield, or is it going to be KDH Caicedo? This is where I get stuck, because again, Enzo Maresca has some wild rotations with his lineups, and I'm not quite sure. I feel like Caicedo is going to play regardless, because Lavia isn't in the Conference League squad and we want to keep him fit for Liverpool. It'd be a massive game for him to perform the way that he does. So I'm going to go with Caicedo, because we know he's got legs on him and we do need that DM. And I'm thinking of the front four as well. I don't know who's going to partner Caicedo in that DM role. If Ashimpong inverts, then you've got your back three, or Cucurella inverts and you've got your back three. But who's going to be this player that pushes forward? It's going to have to be KDH, you know. If I put KDH, does it come up that way? No. Dewsbury. It's going to be Dewsbury Hall. And I'll tell you why. It will make more sense in a second. On the left-hand side, I'm going with Tyreek George. He has to start, man. This guy is just cooking. Will it come up with George? No, let's go Tyreek. Tyreek George. Or Evil Saka, as people like calling him, which I really don't get, by the way. But yeah, I feel like Tyreek George has been fantastic. He's been fantastic every time he's played in a Chelsea shirt. He's young, he's energetic, he's hungry, he wants to. He's direct. He can score goals now. He's getting assists. And again, the Conference League as a competition has really not opened our eyes. We knew we had a talent, but kind of gave him the space to run, if that makes sense, where he is getting the minutes and he's got the lights on him, and he can kind of prove and showcase to Maresca, like, I deserve to be starting. And I feel like Tyreek George should start on the left-hand side. I don't see why he wouldn't. When it comes to that number 10 role, I'm going to go with Cole Palmer, because again, we are still trying to boost his confidence, and he just needs a goal. He's getting some assists, fair enough, right? And we know that Cole Palmer is a world-class talent, but this goal drought, 17 games, we don't want to make it 18 or 19 games, right? We want him to get on the score sheet against Djurgården. We really, really do. He just needs to score, or at least get an assist. I feel like this is the type of game where he can boost his confidence, right? Now, when it comes to the right-hand side, there are a lot of options. We could play Jadon Sancho there. We could play Noni Madueke. We could play Pedro Neto. But you've also got to be cautious of the Liverpool game. So this is where I get confused with the middle three, with Caicedo, Dewsbury Hall and Palmer. Dewsbury Hall, yes, we know he's going to play Conference League. Palmer in the 10, you could put Dewsbury Hall there, but then who are you going to play in that defensive 6 that's going to push forward? Enzo Fernandez, he's going to be rested for Liverpool. Caicedo's got the engine to do both games. We know this because he basically plays every single minute. I mean, we could play a Sugo or Raksakci, but I don't see Enzo Maresca starting those players. I think that they'll come on in the second half and gain minutes. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. When it comes to the wings for either side, it's who starts. Now, we saw in the last game that against Everton that Madueke can play on the left and play it very well. So is he going to play on the left-hand side? And we have Pedro Neto on the right. Is Sancho going to start on the left and Madueke going to be on right? And it's kind of trying to have that foresight to see of who's going to choose for Liverpool and then reverse engineer it. Because obviously one out of these 3 wingers we're trying to select are going to play double minutes. Or are they? So I'm actually going to go with Pedro Neto. I'm going to go Pedro Neto on the right-hand side. Because again, I feel like that right-hand side or the left-hand side will be rotated through the game. So I feel like Sancho and Madueke will get minutes at some point, and they'll all kind of play. I just feel like Neto will more likely start, come off at half-time. And then maybe you see the introduction of Sancho on the right-hand side, or Neto goes on the left-hand side and Noni comes on the right. I think it kind of depends how the game is going. And when it comes to centre-forward, I'm going to go with Nicholas Jackson because we don't have anyone else. Unless you wanted to play Neto as a false 9, which I don't really see the need to when we have Nicholas Jackson. Again, got a great goal against Everton, boost his confidence, which is great to see. We just need to see him score more goals. Because I feel like now is the business end of the season. We keep saying this, everything's a must-win game. It's a semi-final. It's a chance for people like Palmer and Jackson to step up. So where even this competition, regardless of what your viewpoint is of it, even the competition this is where it's getting serious. It's like, okay, cool, we need to go out and perform, get the job done over the 2 legs, because we're then going into a final and we need to win the final, right? It's either going to be Fiorentina or Real Betis in the final. They're going to be a big step up to what we have been playing throughout this entire competition. So I feel like that would be the Chelsea 11 that I would go for. I think it makes the most sense. That means you're resting Reece James, you're resting Lavia, you're resting Enzo Fernandez, you're resting Colwell, you're resting Chalobah, you're giving Sancho and Noni and and Neto and George kind of like half a game, so you're resting them, only getting 45 rather than a 90. Palmer will be playing a lot of minutes, so will Jackson. At the same time, it's a good confidence booster game. You could bring them off for some of the academy boys and the youngsters. You could bring Raksakci on, push Dewsbury Hall into that 10, and that rests Palmer, even if it's just for a half or whatnot. There's a lot of variety we could do. We put George as a number 9. We can take Jackson off, give him a rest. George as a number 9, bring on someone like Sancho. I think there's a lot of options, a lot of flexibility within that. The only people, obviously, aren't going to get a lot of rest is Cucurella and Caicedo. 2 very integral players to how we play because we need them for Liverpool. So that's my predicted Chelsea 11 to face Djurgården in the first leg of the Conference League semi-final. Do you agree with this lineup or do you disagree? Would you play players in different positions? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below in the comments. I love having a conversation with you guys. And if you have watched this video all the way to the end, firstly, you're a real one. But secondly, if you're a Chelsea fan that enjoys Chelsea content, there'll be a thumbnail on the screen. So make sure you click that thumbnail because you'll enjoy that video too.